Algebra 1, Lesson 94, uniform motion problems in the form of distance 1 plus distance 2 equals number. So these are going to be different from our equal distance problems. They're different in the sense that we're either going to have, let's do this. We'll go draw paper. I'll draw some diagrams for you. So the word problems that we're going to experience for these distance problems are either going to be two people starting at one point and going in opposite directions, like east and west, right? So there'd be a starting point. They go in opposite directions to go east and west, and they give you the distance apart they are, like 325 miles, right? So it would be one. If you got somebody going west and then somebody going east, so this would be distance 1, this would be distance 2. The equation that we would put here would be distance 1 plus distance 2 would equal 325, right? Or the other option is you've got like two things meeting in the middle, or let me see here. I don't think they're doing relays on you guys yet. Nope. You have two things meeting in the middle. Like, hey, like the Continental Railroad, you've got the westbound railroad going this far, you got the eastbound railroad going that far, and they both meet at a central point. This would be distance 1, this would be distance 2, and the overall length, let's still make it 325, right? All right, so these are the two different ways that you have distance equations. You either have two things meeting at one point, or you have two things leaving from one point in opposite directions. So let's do a practice problem, and we'll see how this works out. So we'll do 94.3. They tell us that the ships were 400 miles apart at midnight and were headed directly toward each other. Looks like they're going to be starting from opposite ends and then meeting in the middle. If they collided at 8 a.m., find the speed of both ships if one was 20 miles per hour faster than the other. So let's start with the diagram. So I've got two ships, and they are 400 miles apart at midnight. They both start heading towards each other, and then they collide. Bam. Right? So this is going to be distance 1. This will be distance 2. So we have our equation distance 1 plus distance 2 equals 400 miles. Now, we're not just going to use distance 1 and distance 2. We're going to substitute distance for rate and time. So what we actually have here is rate of 1 times time of 1 plus rate of 2 times time of 2 equals 400 miles. Now I got to start looking for information in the problem so I can substitute it into the equation. Now the interesting thing I'm going to notice about this problem is it says that they started at midnight. So both the ships at midnight began heading directly towards each other. Now they collided at 8 a.m. Why is this thing so blurry? So started at midnight, collided at 8 a.m. So in 8 hours, it took the two ships to collide. So the cool thing is they both have the exact same time. So I go over here, and I'm out of focus again. So I go over here, and then I know that time 1 is going to be equal to time 2, and that time 1 is equal to 8 hours, and time 2 is equal to 8 hours. So for both of these, I can just substitute the number 8. I have 8 times something plus 8 times something is going to equal 400. Now I got to figure out what's going on with the rates. So I go back to the problem, and it says find the speed of both ships if one was 20 miles per hour faster than the other. Does it matter which one? No. So I'll just go ahead and take an equation. Take rate of 1 equals rate of 2. This is not true because 1 is 20 miles faster than the other. Let's say rate of 1 is faster. So instead of rate of 1, I'll just go ahead and put rate of 2 plus 20. So I add 20 to the slower one, and I'll substitute this for rate of 1. So in here, I'll put rate of 2 plus 20 times 8 plus rate of 2 times 8 equals 400. Okay. Now I just do a little bit of simplification, and then I'll start solving. So now that I've taken my equation from distance to rate and time to substituting information from the equation, I can start solving. Or I have to simplify, and then I can start solving. So I'm going to use distributive property here. This becomes 8R2 plus 160. This becomes plus 8R2. All that's going to equal 400. All combined like terms. 8 and 8 give me 16 R sub 2. And then I'll subtract 160 from each side. So I've got 16 R2 equals 400 minus 160, which is actually 240. So now I divide each side by 16. Let's see here. 16 and 24 can both divide by 4. That would be 4, and then that becomes 60. These can both divide by 2, 30 over 2. And then that gives me 15. So the rate of 2 is going to be equal to 15. So up here where I have the times, R sub 2 equals 15. And if that equals 15, then rate of 1 is equal to 15 plus 20, which is 35. And now I have both my speeds. So that is all we have for this lesson. If you have any questions, let me know on Moodle, and I will see you in class.